Hey, everybody. Welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Live. I've got a fun show planned for tonight. Back when I started this podcast, I really wanted to bring in as many stories as I could. My goal was to just hear people's stories about the fun times they'd had and what they did. And if you go back into some of my old shows, specifically in the audio only, um, I would get people that aren't that well known on the show because I wanted to hear the stories. I wanted the enthusiasm. I just wanted paintball. I don't care if it's Bud or some fresh kid who's like 15 years old playing for the first time. I just wanted the passion of the sport to be amplified, and I wanted to put that out. That was my goal for this show. And that is what we're going with today. I have a young lady that I guess, well, she's younger than me. She's younger than me. I had said 15-year-old kid. She's definitely not 15, but she is a young lady from Chicago, which, as you all know, is one of the premier paintball towns on this planet. And she's just super enthusiastic. She's part of the Valkyries. And so I'm going to bring her on in a moment. But before I do, I just want to give a quick thank to some of the people that have supported me over the years. No, I'm not going to pull a Fred Schultz and last for 20 minutes. Just quickly, definitely want to give a shout out to Transfuse. I want to give a shout out to Tanks out in Houston. I want to crap. It's been a day, people. Get ready for a really weird video, and I'm going to stutter my little head off. So anyway, all right. So we got Howdy is watching. We've got Paul Hilmer's watching. We've got we're all younger than you, buddy. Thanks a lot. Oh yeah, thanking people. Terribly sorry. Got to give a shout out to Fred Schultz. Him and I are going to be doing a lot of stuff. I think I'm going to create a oh hell, what's it called? I want Fred to make some t-shirts with Stronghold. I want Fred to make some t-shirts that he's not particularly comfortable with. So I'm thinking I am going to make a survey and I'm going to force him to look at some of these ideas because I really want to see the OGAF. I got to dig that t-shirt out and wire it to watch it. Anyway, so my show for tonight is going to be a young lady that has only been playing for about a year or so, really enthusiastic about the show or about the sport. And we're just going to talk paintball and we're going to have fun. So if you're expecting super serious or you're expecting super knowledgeable or anything like that, yeah, no, that's not this show. And it won't be next week's show either. I'm not sure what's going to happen next week, but next week should be pretty hilarious because take a look at your calendar and see what next Wednesday is. Oh, I'm gonna do something. I'm not sure what, but I'm gonna do something. Anyway, let's bring on Jessica Kelly. She's looking at me in the green room like, come on already, get going. So, all right, let's bring her on, shall we?
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I don't know. I'm just I had a lot going on today and I'm behind the scenes and then I was talking to you and I'm out of sync but I'm great. But we got a whole lot of people saying love the background, Steve. I don't know who said that, but the background is barn boards. I hate this background. Well, actually I love it, but I hate it. These are expensive barn boards. This is not a pallet. I built it like this and it turned up like that. So anyway, oh, we got Kathy in the building.
Aww.
Yeah. Kathy's awesome. She's been on the show many, many times. I can't say enough nice things about her.
No, I can't.
I actually helped her. I was one of the people that she was talking to about getting Valkyries started back when it was formed. And she wasn't sure about who she wanted on. I said, well, listen, I know a few really great women. And I created a chat room on Messenger. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And I just invited all these great women that I knew. I Patricia from England and Danny from from Kingston, and I just threw a whole bunch of names in there, and I'm just like, hey, everybody, this is what's going on. Here's Kathy. You guys have a great time. And I left the chat because I am not a girl.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to be, you could, but
Yeah, I'm happy with the equipment I've got, and yeah, and it's pretty impressive, I gotta say. Just I'm
Okay,
happy with the equipment I got, and moving on.
there you
So
go.
exactly. So, are you nervous?
No, not really.
See, and that's
I'm.
because. Go ahead.
I took Ken Hefferly's advice and grabbed a beer, so I'll be fine.
He makes great packs, doesn't he? Have you used any of his packs yet?
So he actually helped me with my pack and my two sons' packs. Because Rob had one and we were training, and I was like, "Oh, I want your pack," and he was like, "Yeah, it's great, Zodiac," and I'm like, so I went to order it, and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me, and Ken was amazing, and
Yeah.
so he helped me and the kids out with it.
He sent me one of those packs a long time ago when it was just starting to come out, and mech paintball was just starting to be big, and he was building everything for the Master Blasters. He sent
Mm-hmm.
me a pack to try and use and whatnot, and I love that thing. Now I've had, and just so you know, I started playing in 1989
Mm-hmm.
when paintball was in 10-round tubes,
Hmm.
and so we'd have to load them into and we were lucky we had like a little 45 round hopper, or we were making hoppers out of oil cans and things like that. So I've seen the evolution, and that pack that comes out of Zodiac, and I can't remember the name of this sister company, brother company. Ken mostly deals with mechanical, but there's a speedball version as well under a different name, a few
Mm-hmm.
different colors and stuff available. But
Hmm.
that pack has got to be one of the best designs for a pack that I've ever used.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Like
no, I agree.
it's just incredible. I got a video of it somewhere that I did a review. I was trying to do the review thing during COVID, and I don't know how many views it got, but it's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
like the pack is the view review, but it is what it is. So let's get to know you a little bit. When did you start playing?
I think it's been about a year.
Okay. What
I
what got you started?
I just, had a couple friends that played, and one introduced me and was like, "Hey, come, kind of hang out and see what you think." And after that, I went to my first, games, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's great. I want to be pod mom every tournament." And, I got to know everyone. Well,
I'm sorry. Did you say pod mom?
mm-hmm,
All right.
pod mom.
So that what they called you, pod mom? Or were
Well,
they being
yeah, I
polite?
wanted to be like, I wanted to take care of them. I was like, this is perfect. I'll refill this. I'll do this. I'll bring drinks. I'll bring snacks. I
All
just
right.
was happy to be there.
I only bring this up because I know you're relatively new, but there's another term, and it starts with a B, and it has nothing to do with gender. But it's not pod mom, it's pod. Has nothing to do with gender, but it's. So I was just wondering if they actually used the term pod mom, or if
Oh,
that was
they said mom. I mean, they
okay.
could say the other term, but then I hope they duck really fast.
There we go. Good on you. Just wanted you to know that,
Yeah, no,
that
no,
that's not the actual term for what you were doing. So you came out and you were just support staff, for lack of a better
mhm.
word, being polite. I don't want to get punched to the camera.
No, you're
Um,
good. You're
yeah,
good.
yeah. So and then you just started playing after
I just
hanging out
kind
with them
of
for a bit.
tagged along, and I was like, "Can I try?" And Howdy. I love Howdy. He's my
Yeah,
hero.
he's
He's like,
awesome.
"How come you're not playing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just here, and it's my first time." And he's like, give her your gun. Give her your gun. Let's see." And I fired my first marker, and I was like, "Oh my god, sold!" Like, where sign me up, put me in.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. So when you first started playing, what kind of an event were you play? Like, what was your first event to try to play? The first time.
Uh, well, now bear with me because I'm still learning the ICPL, the NXL, the WCPL, all
Yeah,
that.
it's a big
I can
alphabet
keep it
soup.
straight. Like I did a 10-man.
That was
And
your use case. So just pause a second. You actually, your first paintball experience was a tournament, not just going out and
no,
having
I mean
fun.
I had practiced at
Oh, okay.
Badlands and Fox. Got beamed in the forehead, all the good stuff that comes with actually being able to go onto the field with everyone. So,
That field's amazing, by the way.
oh
Did they
yeah,
make you go walk in the swamp? They made me walk in the swamp.
no,
Very first time I was at Fox, very first time I was at an NXL event, and I was to practice for Destiny Midwest. So I flew in and I met Robert Hansen for the first time. And the very moment he met me, he started humping my leg.
nice.
Yeah, he's that guy.
I mean,
Anyway, love him to death.
There is.
Anyway, I said, I have to go to the bathroom because I just got off the plane and travel and whatnot. He goes, yeah, just over there in the long grass. They sent me into a swamp. They sent me into the swamp. Like, so I want you to do me a favor. Next time you're out on things, I don't care if he's rough or what. If you're closer, just haul off and just pop one. That's from Steve.
Oh, yeah. And then when they're like, get her out of here, I'm going to be like, Steve,
Yeah.
I did it.
Steve says hello.
All the way from Canada. Hi.
Exactly. And I don't care how low you aim or how high you aim. Just pop them once for me for sending me in the swamp. Just
I will. I've got you.
exactly. So, but the very first time you actually played, like you picked up a gun and you were shooting at people and people were shooting back. What was it? Was it practice? Was it a rec? Like
Practice.
It was just a practice. So do you just go and play rec ball, or are you strictly tournament at this point, or just whatever you can?
Everything. I want to try everything.
Okay.
Like I did my first 10-man, then I did a 3-man. Now I'm going to do a scenario. I'm going to go for another 10-man. Like I want to play all of them.
Right.
So I just want to try it all once. I mean, I may have a preference afterwards. Sorry, I told you.
It's fine.
I may have a preference after I've played everything. I can tell you a 3-man kicked my ass. Like, thank God for Summer and Alana because I was dying. I was like, what do you mean we're up again? Like, we just finished. And they're like, we're up again. And I'm like, shit. I can't breathe. I'm a little too old for this, maybe, but I did it.
Yeah. Like, you'll find that every format has its own completely different animal. I've never personally played 10-man. I have never personally played 10-man. Up here in Canada, it's because we have such a smaller population, lots of space, small population. And it was hard to get full 10-man teams. So up here, 5-man was more prevalent. And so I played mostly 5-man, and I just never had the invite to play 10-man. My first invite to 10-man, legitimate invite, actually came from Tim Montresor. I was supposed to come up to ICC, and I was going to be doing something with him and Jake from Bearded Works. He's a gun tech, fantastic gun tech, by the way. And he was going to make me play. He said, I got a spot for you on a team. You'll have a great time, but I'm not telling you what team it was. I'm like, okay. And so that was all well and good. And then he passed away, and ICC that year was canceled, obviously, COVID. And yeah, it was a whole. And then I had his mom on. Oh, geez. Speak of the devil. So it says Bearded Works. I thought he wasn't on Facebook anymore. Oh, he's watching on YouTube. Awesome. So that's Jake, by the way. Anyway, yeah, Jake's an amazing guy. Anyway, I'm just stunned that he was watching because he's not on Facebook these days. There was an issue, firearms. Anyway, social media is weird.
No problem.
Yeah, well, he didn't do anything with fireworks. It's just a lot of people. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. He's just not on Facebook anymore. So, but regardless, I'm so glad. I'm sorry. I'm so glad that Jake's watching. That's just like the best thing ever. I miss my friend. So anyway, I had Jennifer Montresor on the show shortly after. I didn't really know her at all, but reached out and I liked Tim, whatnot. Do you know what Tim was going to do for me? And this is from Jen. You can check it out. She said it on previous shows, so I'm not spilling any secrets. He was going to get me to play on the All Americans.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I know it's mechanical, but I was going to be able to be an alternate on one of the single greatest paintball teams in the history of paintball.
Wow.
Now, greatest hit team in the history of paintball is Dynasty. That's just a given. Not my personal favorite, but that's just a given. But Aftershock, Iron Men, All Americans, Bad Company, like just iconic teams. And I was going to have the giant Alcoholics Anonymous, All Americans on my jersey, and I was going to earn one. So, Frank, if you don't believe me, you can take it up with Jess. Not Jeff. You can take that. You can ask Jennifer Montresor. That's the story I got, and it came from her. And I'll go find the original video and I'll click it in. But anyway, so that is. I was just going to be an alternate. I think it was on the second squad. I'm not fully sure. It never happened. Oh, my apologies. So, Frank say Dynasty is not the greatest team. Anyway, I thought fair enough. Okay. By the way, if you don't know who Frank Connell is, he's amazing. When we're talking about talented players, Frank is just, and he also owns the Dilly Dilly donut truck. So whenever you go to events and you're having the greatest donuts, you can thank Frank.
Very nice.
Yeah, he's awesome. All right, so I got completely sidetracked.
That's okay.
So your first show, or your first was practice, and then you went straight into playing tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your favorite experience that you've had so far, like in paintball? Like, is there a moment that just stands out for you?
Yeah, during practice, I got binged in the forehead by the person that was teaching me, and I actually got him, but I drew blood, and so that was like my first, in my mind, like kill shot, and I was just like, yes, like
Where'd you pop him?
In the ankle.
Wait, so
not like a little above the ankle bone.
And it was a guy that you were playing against, right? Just so there was a guy running around in a practice with exposed ankles.
Yeah, he had shorts on. I think he underestimated my shot.
I'm thinking that, yeah, there's not, I don't know who it was, but less exposed skin is better. And on your feet when you're sliding and stuff, less exposed skin is better.
Doing all that, it was literally just me practicing my angles. So it wasn't supposed to be like an all-out us against other people. It was just us on the field practicing my angles, keeping.
So you're doing drills.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so he taught me a lesson about keep my head down, and I was like, fair. I got it. And then when I drew blood, I was like, and now you got it. I'm a good shot.
All right. Somebody says Frank Connell also has some great Italian ice. Haven't tried it yet. Not sure made my Chinese eyes round is politically correct, but you said it, not me, not you, but whoever this is. I'm guessing that's going to be a Mark Gong comment, but that's just a hunch on my my part. See, I think I'm more nervous than you are. It's been so long since I've been doing this show, right?
You're fine.
I know I'm fine.
You're doing a great job. If you start dancing and doing these weird dances that these kids are doing, I'm done. I already deal with it in the grocery store. I'm not doing it on your show.
Oh, somebody said, Jessica, looking forward to seeing you this weekend. And there's a comment here that says, yes, it's gone.
Season, not weekend. I'll be working all weekend.
Okay, fair enough. You have to appreciate. I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at this. Like
I'm just assisting here. I'm
I
your
know, and I'm so glad you're on the show. So,
me too.
so your first experience when you first popped somebody right in the ankle, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Although why anybody would have exposed ankles while they were playing is beyond me.
It's
I
summer.
mean, I so I am part of a team called the Booney Boys, and I wasn't for a very long time, but they taught me how to play. I just was never part of their team up until only a few years ago. And there's a guy on our team called Bobby Doust, and I can't remember why it was. And Bob is he's a special someone. I love him to death. Don't get me wrong, but he's a special someone. If/when you meet him, you will understand. I think he lost a bet, but he was wearing a frilly pink bikini with an old JT mask over his privates, so he had some protection, and a giant cat in a hat that just was like way up. And he was playing in a tournament in a frilly pink bikini, cleats, mask in front of his private parts, and a giant cat in a hat. So I've seen some pretty weird things, but
I've heard of some fun stories for stuff that's coming up, and I'm like, I'm gonna see all that, huh? And they're like, yep. And I'm like, about
the last ICC event that I was at, they were literally stealing. They were not stealing. They were literally storing buckets of Dilly Dilly donuts on the field inside the hypertube bunkers. And so you would go out in the field and you'd look down and you had snacks. And so you would reach down, you would pop a couple, and you would keep going. So mid-combat, there was an earlier ICC events, they wouldn't fill up all their pod packs with pods. They actually had tall boys in their pod packs.
Nice.
Like it's just
nice.
Woo. All right, so James, I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'm sorry, James. I apologize, but it says, "Ask Jess what Howdy always says to her."
Oh, Howdy! You say so much, but I think the core memory I have is him and Rob Walker training me in summer and having like Jackie kind of work with the other teams. And he was teaching us our yardage, like how to call where people are. And Howdy was standing with us. Rob was across at Fox, like across the field. And he's like, you got to be here. And then this is your 10 yard. This is your 20. And Howdy's like, listen, ladies, just point and shoot. You don't need to know anything else. If they're out there, shoot. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. Just point and shoot. So I think like that's the one core I have of Howdy is like, just point and shoot.
When in doubt, fire out.
Absolutely. So
you can always apologize later. Nobody's dying. So when in doubt, fire out.
No, it's all good fun.
Yeah. All right. So how many fields have you played so far since you've been doing it for a year? I'm assuming that Fox is your home field. That's just an assumption.
Yes.
How many fields have you played so far?
I only did, Badlands, Fox, and then I did, trust your instincts. Yeah, you're right. Howdy, you do say that a lot. Badlands, Fox, and then I played in St. Louis.
All right. So just the two fields. You haven't really gone out to start really traveling yet, other than
that'll be starting this year.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you play much rec ball just for the fun of it?
I mean, I try to get out once, Fox is open. I'll be out there and have the kids out there shooting and stuff. So, yeah.
How old are your kids, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm sorry?
How old are your kids, if you don't mind my asking?
9 and 10.
Oh, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but back when paintball was in its early stages,
Mm-hmm.
it was highly discouraged for kids to play paintball. They didn't want anybody on the field under the age of 14, and they really didn't like it when there was people on the field under the age of 18, which is a huge change from what it is right now. But back then, it was an adult thing.
Mm-hmm.
Paintball players were just everybody was over the age of 18, 20s, 30s. Like that was what it was like in the late 80s or in the 80s and then into the early 90s. And then by the late 90s, as airball was being developed, bunkers were getting smaller because they were trying to build the bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
And they hadn't gotten it down pat yet. And so bunkers were very, very small. And the reason why air bunkers were made was because if you're playing in the woods, it's impossible to have a perfectly symmetrical field. So
Right.
a lot of games were won or lost by a coin toss, because whichever side of the field you got, assuming that both teams are relatively equal, one side was a bigger advantage than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And so with these smaller bunkers, what a lot of teams were doing is they were recruiting kids right out of high school because they wanted small, fast, and the big guys that were just sort of like lumbering around, they just lay paint from the back, and they'd send the little kids out because rubber bones and high speed.
They're faster, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm all about that. I'm like, send the young ones. I might break a hip.
So where do you like to play, or where do you like to play on the field?
I don't do. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to give away my secrets, Steve. Like, what if I'm?
Well, it's not a secret. It's like your people are front players, people are back players. Like, are you like
I'm more of a back player.
more
I'm not.
back?
Yeah, I'm not the runner. I'm not trying to get up there in the first go. I'll never make it.
Fair enough.
Mm-mm.
I,
I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I'll probably get stuck at some point. So I play back. I'd rather cover.
somebody says she loves the back. I'm assuming that we're still talking about paintball positions, so we're just going to do that. And then howdy goes sacrificial lambs. Yep. And this was she became. Why isn't it changing? That's weird. Now it comes up. There we go. StreamYard is being me. So, and she's going to Florida in April.
Yes, I am.
What field are you guys playing in Florida? What kind playing in Florida?
Huh?
What field? What game are? It's the WCPL. I'm assuming. What field is in Florida?
Panhandle.
Oh, nice.
I knew that. Look at me. That's only because I'm trying to find a hotel near there.
Well, it shouldn't be that hard. Now, you guys,
No,
now,
I
are you
found a couple.
Are you just finding a hotel by yourself, or are you guys just normally when I travel, it's usually with a great big group of people, and we pack everybody like cordwood in whatever rooms we can find.
Yeah, I may. I'm still figuring out my final destination. At this point, I'm so excited that I'm like, I'll just sleep in my rental car. It doesn't really matter at that point. I mean,
Your team's not going to allow that to happen.
No, they won't. And that's the thing. I'm like, I snore. And they're like, so we all snore. And I'm like, fuck, that didn't work either. And I'm like, well, I want my own room. So we'll see. I don't know.
Well, back in the day, and you talk to Rob Walker or whomever, and they will tell you that back in the early tournament scene, which is what the WCPL is trying to recreate, there was 3 rules for playing well. And the more of these 3 rules you had, the better you played. First rule is you're playing hungover. Second rule is you're playing with complete gut rot because you've eaten some really nasty food. And the third rule is you're playing with absolutely no sleep. It's like complete sleep deprivation. The more of these you have, the angrier you are on the field, and you are just like motivated to go out, mess some crap up, and then get off the field, and everybody just charges. So gut rot, hungover, and sleep deprivation are the three main motivators of old school 10-man paintball. Ask
that's
any old timer, they'll tell you that.
perfect. Right up my alley.
All right, so now, are you enjoying? Have you used electronic guns? I know that WCPL is mechanical. Hey, oh, where'd it go? Rob Walker agreed with. So true.
So,
and then Kathy's saying, "Sleep? What sleep? We were up till 3:00 in the morning in St. Louis. See,
yeah, it was fun. It was fun times.
Paintball rules: sleep deprivation, gut rot, and hungover. More of those you can combine, the better you are as a tournament player.
There you go. You just get better and better.
So, have you used an electrical gun, or have you tried one? Like, have you just gone out and let people? Nobody's handed you one, just like for a rec day, and just said, "Go at it."
I mean, I haven't like felt it necessary. I'm still like, I coddle my marker. Like it was the first one I fired, and it's the only one I've used, and it's become like I know how heavy it is. I know how to carry it. I know how to position it. So I'm very much so a creature of habit in some respects. And so when I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. And I'm like, nope, my marker is perfect. Like I know everything about it. We talk to each other. Good vibes.
Yeah, you say that, and yet, what kind of marker is it again? I'm such a jerk.
You just got jokes, huh? It's an EMEC 100. Thank you.
Yes, it is, with an aftermarket Fight Club Inception Designs body.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that it's probably got some internal workings too, because if it's a Fight Club gun, chances are you've got a secret switch, and you've probably got something like a fang trigger and a hair valve. So that thing probably is really touchy. Am I right?
I have no clue. I mean, I haven't found it if it does, or I wouldn't know. I'm just
saying, when you touch that trigger, is it like a lot of slop, or is it you just touch it and she goes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
B.
Yeah. That is very souped up EMEC, just so you know.
Ooh.
The body is probably worth as much as the gun.
Well, now I feel fancy.
Yeah, and you should. That's not just any little marker. That's a good one.
No, I definitely appreciate, being able to use it and stuff. So it's very kind.
So your love affair with your marker. By the way, yeah, your love affair with your marker, you're gonna want to upgrade, change, experiment with different markers and stuff. And I know how that sounds, and I apologize.
No,
it's not intended that way. But if you get the chance, has Rob not put an automag in your hands yet? Little old school.
Yeah, that's what
heavyweight, high end, just.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Have you not even tried it at the range?
No.
We can't be friends.
You know what? We are going to be friends, and you're just going to accept me for me. That's it. That's how this works. I don't have to change. I can stay with my marker until I die.
I am not saying that you need to change, and I am not saying that you have to get a different marker. I'm just stunned that you have this love for paintball, and you're not trying to shoot every freaking marker you can get your hands on.
Well, this is true.
Like that's what's getting me. It's not that I want you to use something different. I have the same gun as you, and that's going to be my main gun for this season at least. Right? Like that's like I love that thing. Got it in Wisconsin, sent it to Caesar in Detroit, because he is hands down one of the greatest paintball techs of all time. I mean, Jake is amazing, but he specializes in his own thing. I'm not knocking Jake. There's some great ones. You've got Pang out in California. You've got Jake in, I believe, South Carolina. You've got Caesar in Detroit. Like, there's a bunch of great techs. But yeah. Oh, what's Rob saying here? We haven't had the chance yet. She loves her marker, but that will change this spring, guaranteed. See, Rob.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna hold that thought. I have to use the ladies' room. You talk to Rob first.
Oh, I'm gonna talk to Rob.
Okay.
So you see, Rob, I love my auto mags, don't get me wrong, but you can't, everybody's not a mag person. I know that sounds bad, but it is what it is. So yeah. But I'm just surprised that she hasn't actually wanted to try to use it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's what kind of boggles me a bit. All right, so let me just go through the questions while she's taking a quick break. We've got Rob's teammate said we snore too damn loud and he didn't sleep. So be it. And what is it? Using the old Jedi marker mind meld. I don't know what that even means, to be honest. Oh, Jessica's back. Hey, welcome back.
Thanks.
And Frank's going, long live Tom K. Tom K, by the way, is the inventor of the Automag. Not sure if you're familiar with that or not. And he's from the Chicago area, and the Automags are made in your hometown, which is just one of the reasons why I'm stunned that Rob hasn't stuck one in your hands.
No.
Just to crank it across the... Oh, that's a pretty puppy.
This is the baby. His name is Odin.
How old's Odin?
Odin is 18 months.
Still young. Nice.
Yes, he's a Great Dane. So
yes.
You'll see him at events. He goes to all the local events and hangs out.
You don't find that the gunfire doesn't startle him at all?
It hasn't bothered him since we started bringing him when he was a puppy. He was probably 7-8 months old, and he could care less. He gets along with all the dogs. Kaido is his best friend. Brandon, is always helping me and trying to work with Odin to get him to behave as well as his dog. So
it's nice. Cool. I'm not sure about Brandon's dog, that sort of thing. One of my great problems with the show that I have is I meet so many fantastic people like yourself, but it becomes a blur. And you're like, okay, well, I know this and this and that. And it's just sort of like, people will say, well, Alex. And I'm like, what city are we talking about here? What state? What freaking country are we talking about here? Got to narrow it down a little bit.
Name something.
Nickname, team name. Just give me something to just shrink it down just a little bit. Kathy says, I was so proud of Jessica when she shot Spike in St. Louis. All right, I want to hear this story. What happened with shooting Spike in St. Louis?
Apparently he saw me and thought he'd be slick and come up the hill and underestimated my shot. And so I nailed him right in the side, right on the back. And he was like, you shot me after the game. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, don't you dare apologize. Take a picture. And he was so, so nice about it. And he definitely just built my confidence at that point. He's like, nice. You're a great shot. And I was like, oh my gosh, coming from someone that's on the band, that's huge. So I was like, thank you so much. I was honored. I was honored to be able to shoot him.
Yeah, the band is quite the collection of icons.
Absolutely.
Say the very least.
So to be able to take a picture and say that I got him, it was amazing. It was
sure. We say band and we say icon, and Mr. Fred shows up in the thing.
There you go. Another one. See?
Yeah. Oh, I love Fred so much. And Fred, notice the hat. Just so you know, Fred and I started Stronghold, which is a clothing company for paintball during COVID. Unfortunately, because of COVID, and then because I'm in a different country and taxes and shipping and just a whole lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, it stalled for a little bit, but we're going to try to get it back and we're trying to get going. So if I ever say comments like Stronghold or I got to get Fred to make a t-shirt, I tend to design a little. I help design a lot of the stuff, and so we're working on it. We'll get something out. Oh,
Absolutely.
we got another person watching on YouTube, Jim Stevens, and says, "Just wait until next time." Is that Spike?
Yes. And it's like become this thing where he's like, I'm going to get you back. And I'm like, oh, so you're throwing the gauntlet down? Like, let's go. And it's just, he's, again, complete confidence booster. He was so humble and nice about it. And so now, I mean, this is the appeal, right? Like the people. It's like, yes, I love getting out there and shooting. Don't get me wrong. Like, I
Oh, I
feel
understand.
in my element when I'm out there with the adrenaline going, but the people are what keeps you drawn into it. Like I've met so many wonderful people. I've made so many new friends. And, I was telling you, like, I don't ever feel like I have to put on a show or be someone I'm not. I am who I am. You take it or leave it. At the end of the day, it doesn't make or break anything in my life. So I wish you the best. And if I'm not your type, cool. Keep it moving.
Now, okay, so what are your goals for paintball moving forward? Because I know you're loving it, and I know you want to improve. That's just how we all roll.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, by the way, you just got a huge compliment from Mr. Fred.
Oh, thank you so much, Fred. Ah,
And do you know how much of an impact Fred Schultz has had on paintball? By the way,
I do.
yeah, he is single-handedly the best paintball marketing. Or he's the best paintball promoter. That's the word I should be using. In the history of paintball,
He's
like
amazing.
yeah,
I follow him
just
and everything.
just hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you see. Have you gotten a hold of one of his old VHS tapes?
No,
I'm sure we can find it on YouTube somewhere. But yeah,
send it to me.
well. It used to be he created a video on how to play paintball, and it was included with, I believe, all Brass Eagle stuff and Zap, and so it went out. Millions of copies were made. So all the young kids that were learning how to play, that was all Fred just contributing to the sport. Like that is why Fred is who he is. He gives a crap.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying I agree with everything he says, but
No.
respect that ever living
I was just
out
gonna
of him.
say we don't have to agree, but as long as there's a mutual respect, it's fine.
Yeah, like I still don't understand how you just don't want to shoot everything you get your hands on. That makes no sense to me. I don't even understand it. That's like people that look forward to eating Brussels sprouts. Like,
I like Brussels sprouts too. What are you trying to say,
okay,
Steve?
and this show is over.
Oh my God, it's fine. It's fine. I'll take my talents elsewhere. No, I'm joking.
All right. So what are your goals for paintball moving forward?
I'm honestly a sponge. Like, I don't go out there and pretend to know shit. I go out there and I'm just like, I'm here to shoot stuff and cover my team and have fun and party and just get to know more people and understand them. I just want to keep learning and growing. That's all I want to do. I'm not going to be on somebody's fridge on a paintball card anytime, anywhere near the future, but I am humble enough to be able to say that I just want to play with all these legends and icons and great people that go out there and give it their all, because it's not an easy sport. I mean, I didn't understand how hard the sport was until I went to my first tournament and watched, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not easy. This takes a toll on you. And then I'm telling you, playing myself, I'm like, I think I, broke my elbow at some point and just kind of let it heal wrong or something. I don't know. But, you twist an ankle and it's like, get up, move. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard work.
I can't count. I shouldn't say I can't count. I think it's less than 10 times, I think. So give or take 10 times, I would go to a local tournament or whatever in the blazing hot sun. And back then we were all wearing heavy cotton pants and like combat jackets and the whatnot. And we'd be running back and forth, and the pop-up tents weren't available and whatnot. I gave myself heat stroke at least 10 times. And I like, there were times where I would just, if there was a creek at the field, I was like, my feet on the my feet on the sand and my head just like lying in the creek trying to cool down, and just going straight to the hospital afterwards. And the doctors are like, what did you do to yourself? And I was like, I was at a paintball tournament. Ping pong. And they're like, you're dehydrated and heat stroke. I'm like, yeah, just stick the IV in, just get me back up and going.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. Yeah, like it is hands down challenging, to say the very least. And you get such an adrenaline rush. If you're anything like me, you'll push yourself way past when you should have stopped. Way past.
My adrenaline doesn't stop until I'm out. Like the entire time I'm anticipating that shot. I'm just like, oh my God, I know it's coming. I'm going to try to get out as many people as possible, because I'm like, I don't want to get shot in like the love handle, or I'm like those places where it just stings and you're like, don't flinch, don't flinch. They're going to say you're weak. And I'm like, just take it. And so it's like all this in my mind is building up until that shot. And then I'm like, oh, okay, it hurt. It's cool.
Well, you know what? I don't think anybody will judge you if you take a hit and it hurts and you got to walk it off. Last World Cup I played, I was playing with the Expendables, which is Andy Starrett, who's also part of the band, and his friend Puck, who's also an Expendable. And we were playing 3-man at World Cup, which I don't know if you, when the time comes to play World Cup, know that when it comes time to playing 3-man, that is paintball at its purest, because nobody's sandbagging. It's just World Cup paintball, and 3-man is just because everybody's there and they want to start shooting people. So you can, like, they'll try to say, oh, it's like D5 or D4 or whatever. No. When it's 3-man, you're just getting into the mix and getting smacked around, and you could be going up Ryan Greenspan, or you could be going up against some 14-year-old kid. You don't know. Point is, they come at you hard. I got shot in the forehead, like, and I had my bell rung. Like, I got off the side of the field, I got my arm up, and I just dropped to my knees, and I had my hands up, and the refs were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, I got my bell rung. I just give me a moment. I'll get off the field. So, yeah.
I haven't had that happen yet, but I'm sure it will.
All right. So what's the most painful hit you've taken?
Probably the back.
Really?
Yeah. Right? Like it's in a sensitive spot. It was like right in a like crevice. That's because I have a big mouth and I'm loud. I'm like, I'm never quiet. My whisper is someone's normal like voice tone.
Yeah, but that's probably one of that's probably one of the greatest assets to a back player. Yeah. Situational awareness, number one, and being loud as hell, number two. And then close number three is actually be able to put paint where you need to be. But situational awareness and being able to let everybody know where they are, that's key for a back player, because even if you're not the greatest shooter, if everybody knows what's going on and you're able to stand up and you've got the big bunker and you can look around and you can see what's going on, you can control the field. It's kind of like a commander without being in charge, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's
why it was important for me to learn, where's the 10, where's the 20, where's the 30, because I need to call it out if I'm going to play in the back. I mean, unless I'm all of a sudden going to get, fast in my 43 years of life, which I'm not, I have to learn how to properly support my team from the back position, and part of that is knowing where people are, knowing how many people are getting Rob. Knowing where people are, knowing how many people are out, how many, we have out, and just calling positions.
Yep.
So
I'm just saying, never be ashamed of being loud, because that is just key to be
yeah,
heard over gunfire.
I'm loud. It is what it is.
Yeah, but that's something to be proud of. That's not to be like, hey, no.
Yeah,
It's
until
like,
I'm like sitting there and I can feel the paint like hitting the bunker, and I'm like, fuck. And everyone's like, there's kids, and I'm like, yeah, probably mine, and they know. So it's fun.
so most painful hit for me, and it's happened twice.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank range, getting bunkered in the funny bone. Your
Ooh,
hand just does this for like 15 minutes. I don't recommend it.
no,
Direct hit, point blank range on a nerve.
it doesn't sound very fun. I mean,
I'd rather take a shot in the nads. I'm telling you, like that. Just rather do it that way, because in nothing worse than the funny bone.
really, I
Yep.
haven't gotten hit there yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Well, you know
Like,
what? If you're good, it's oh, you're talking never been hit in the elbow or never been hit in the. Never mind. I don't need to know. Moving on.
next.
So, what are you most excited for this season?
Traveling with my team, playing on the different fields, getting to experience paintball outside of, I was so excited to go to St. Louis, and so now Florida. And I mean, I'm really trying to do as many as I possibly can, just because, again, I'm meeting new people, I'm going new places, I'm playing on all these different fields that people talk about, and it's like, oh, I hope I can play there one day. I want to see what that's like. So just the experience of getting to, travel and play with all these wonderful people and learn from them, and, pick up different ideas and best practices. I'm excited.
All right, so we got somebody here saying OG MPPL days taking face shots. I don't know if you know this or not, but in the late 80s, early 90s, we had goggles. There was no face mask. You would take it right in the teeth.
Oh, wow.
Now, I personally, when I started playing, there was this thing called a PMI mask that gave you a full face. It was just this piece of plastic, and then I put UVEX goggles over top,
Mhm.
and then I painted the mask up, so it was kind of like a tiger stripe paint job. I'll have to dig that mask out. I haven't shown anybody in a while. I've got boxes and boxes of gear that I've collected over the decades that are all just stuffed in the attic. Just, it's sad.
Yeah. I've started my collection. I have masks and elbow pads in every size now, and I'm
Have
like,
you tried HydraFit yet?
no.
HydraFit pads?
Mm-mm.
All right. So I got a pair of HydraFit knee pads,
Mhm.
and they're just the best. And I'm not saying this to plug them or anything like that. I'm just you and I are talking.
No,
If you
absolutely.
get the chance, get to try a pair of HydraFit knee pads, and it's hydra.fit. I got a pair, and Andy Starrett got a pair, like at the same time. We were at the ICC,
Mhm.
and yep, Andy's in here. He said best pads out there. They're amazing. They're like a knee support,
Mhm.
like what you would get to support your knee, except they've got gel in them. So what you want to do is you want to get it so it's nice and tight,
Mhm.
and you put it on, and for the first 5 minutes you can feel it, and then you forget that they even exist. You wear them under your track pants or whatever style of paintball pant you use, and they just slide under, and they're so comfortable you literally forget that you have them on. We all came back from the tournament. Andy needed a shower. We were all myself, Andy, Taco. I think that was just the three of us.
You all showered?
Not together, but we all showered. Yeah. But Andy came out of the shower and he still had his knee pads on. He showered with his knee pads on because he completely forgot he was wearing them. They don't slide, they don't move, they don't go out of the way. They're just the
Just
best
like in
ever.
skin. Nice. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to
Like,
add it to my collection.
yeah. No. That won't be your collection. That'll be the last pair of knee pads you ever own. And the rest of them are just not going to be interest anymore.
Well, I don't have any, so I can justify the purchase.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Andy's like designed to be compression for the knee. Yeah. Like they're absolutely amazing.
Very
I
nice.
actually have 2 pair now, and I actually wear my old pair like when I go to work because I work with HVACs, and so I'm on my knees a lot, and it's just amazing. So, okay, and it comes out. All right, so everybody just directed at Andy. I'm just saying.
You just outed him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's Andy is one of the greatest guys. I don't know. Have you met Andy Sturrett yet, or do you know him? I'll take that as a no.
I'm meeting so many people that, to be honest, in all fairness, I'm trying to remember everyone I come across and everybody I meet. And it's like there's so many great people that I don't want to say no and them say, well, no, I met you here. And it's like I don't want to offend anyone. Like, I'm sorry.
No. I totally understand. So have you heard of the Allie Remembered Foundation?
Yes, I'm.
All right. So Andy was Allie's stepdad.
Yes.
And Andy is basically, I mean, it's a nonprofit organization. There is a board of directors, which Bud Orr and Dan Colby and B. Young, Paxton, and blah, 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 blah. There is a bunch of people, but for all intents and purposes, the main guy in charge of the Allie Remembered Foundation is Andrew Starrett. Or Andy, as I know him. And he is one of the single greatest guys in paintball that you will ever meet. Hands down. I can't say enough fantastic things about Andy and that whole group. And the other person that was sharing our room at the time was a guy named Joe. I always just called him Taco. It's Martinez or I forget how to pronounce that. I just refer to him as Taco. And unfortunately, we lost him a couple years ago. He had a heart attack, and he was one of the greatest people in paintball that I ever met. He wasn't very talented in paintball, but you will never meet a harder worker. When Taco was around and we were at a charity event or we were doing something for the Allie Remembered Foundation, Taco was the guy. You needed something done, he would do it. He didn't come off as being overly smart or overly talented or anything. He just kind of this goofy kind of guy, but I can't say how much I loved his company. Like, and we trade stuff all the time. So yeah. Anyway, that he came out of the shower with knee pads on. It was probably had something to do with him and Taco. I'm just saying. So, Kathy says the Valkyries are under ARF. Yes, they are. That I did know.
Yes.
All right. So, and she said, and Rob says she met Andy at ICC at Fox last year.
I thought I did, and that's why I was like, I don't want to say no because I'm pretty sure I did. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, I assumed that you had, but I can't assume because I wasn't there.
I mean, I'm meeting so many people and I'm just like, wow. And everyone's like, for paintball. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I get this game. These guys play so hard. And it's not just the game. Like, it's everything that comes out of it and the foundations and the sponsorships and the support and the meaning behind them. And then when you start learning the history, it can be really overwhelming, but in a beautiful way. Like, you're just like, wow. Like, these are great people that are fighting for great causes and bringing awareness to things that we should bring awareness to, you know? And
absolutely.
I'm in awe. I can't say enough good about, you know, everyone and their contributions and what they're trying to take away from it. So,
right. No, absolutely. So, of all the stories that you've met, and I don't know if you know this or not, but being part of the Valkyries, you are running with paintball royalty.
Oh, yeah. Kathy's
Um,
amazing. Everybody's amazing. All the women, I mean, that I've met on my team that I even haven't met, just didn't talk to in chat or seen, like, hands down.
well, I don't necessarily mean just that, like them specifically, but Kathy was her brother was one of the original Master Blasters
Yes.
from the early 80s.
Yes.
Like paintball was invented in 81. Very first paintball game was played in Canada in the spring of 82. And she was there from the very beginning. And because she was with her brother, like Kathy was never part of the Master Blasters, but she was always helping out as you like to call it, pod mom. I'm sorry, I have a hard time saying that with straight face because I know the other way of calling it. And it's
That's
not a
it.
gender thing, it's just that's the role. Anyway, but you are going to get the opportunity to meet all the greatest people in the sport from all over the world because everybody's going to be coming to say hi to the Valkyries because it's part of under Kathy's umbrella.
Absolutely.
Now I'm not saying that there's not going to be drama here and there, because it wouldn't be paintball if there was no drama. That's just the way it works. That's just the way the show works. You gotta embrace the frog, warts and all. Like
I
that's
don't
just.
do drama. I am not about that life. It can stay where it is. I'll go walk and look at the field and watch a game. I don't do drama.
I'm just saying. You get a bunch of alpha type personalities. You put them
I'm
in
an
a
alpha.
room. You make it.
I
I
am
know
an
you are.
alpha
I
female.
can tell.
And so if I say I am not dealing with drama, I will smile politely and excuse myself. Have a great day. I don't do it.
Oh, that's my buddy Zach from Alabama. Thank you, Zach. And by the way, Zach, I apologize for not getting last week's show up on audio. I will get it up shortly, and this one will be on audio as well. Zach, by the way, he is one of my bigger fans, and he loves listening to this podcast on, I want to say Spotify, could be iTunes. I don't know.
I know a couple of people said that they were going to listen to it on Spotify. So
yeah.
There you go.
But this isn't going live to Spotify. I have to download the audio, and then I got to edit it, and then I got to send it back up. So that has to be said separately. But as it is right now, we are live on the Denver Expendables Facebook page. We are live on my Facebook group. We are live on my YouTube channel, and we are live on my Twitch channel, all at the same time.
No pressure.
None at all. Like I told you before this started, this is just a talk between me and you. Everybody else is just sort of joining in, and they're having their own little discussion on the side. And that's what I love about this.
Absolutely.
But who do you want to meet? Like what with everything you've seen and everything you've done, and I still can't believe you don't just want to grab every paintball you can just to shoot.
Now I'm going to. Now I'm going to, and I'm going to make sure that I video and take pictures, and I'm going to bombard you with them. Like I did it. See, this is me with this one and this one, and I mean, now I'm going to do it. But in particular, like, God, I honestly, everybody in their own right deserves. How do I say this? Like a spotlight. So
absolutely.
in my eyes, like there isn't one person because there's so many, and the more I'm learning, the more I'm like, oh, he contributed to that, he invented this, he fought for this, and it's like, oh, she did this, and I mean, I can't give you one person. In all honesty, I'm to the point where I'm just like, I'm just excited to meet everybody and anyone I can, and just pick their brain and learn from them and talk to them, and just see what they have to say, and what, maybe they have a tip. And I mean, I've already learned the hard way to keep my head down and watch my angles. I never turned my back to a bunk. I got lit up for that one. I was warned, in all fairness, twice. Stop turning your back to your bunk. And I did my little spin move and got lit up. And I do not turn my back anymore. So
yeah. No, I just meant I've had the privilege of meeting most of my heroes. I still haven't met Tim Schloss yet, and he is the man that brought Tiger Stripes to paintball.
Okay.
And who else haven't I met? Anyway, there's just certain people that, like Tim Schloss right now is on my to-do list. Also, oh, you got another we got another Canadian Valkyrie in the house.
Oh.
I was able to talk with Forrest Hatcher. I mean, I haven't really met him directly, shake his hand, but I had him on the show last week, and that was a huge deal, like to me, because Forrest is, the stuff that he's done is incredible. But I geek out. Like, I love this sport so much. I geek out on icons. Like, it blows my mind. And so I was just kind of curious with all the stories you hear and the things you see, and the more you learn, like with anything, there's things that you want to keep learning. And I wasn't sure if there was anything that stood out to you that was like, oh, I'm really interested in this, or is it all just so new you're just trying to taking in as much as you can?
Everything. It's so new, and there's so much that I still need to, learn, and questions that I have, and everything. I'm just taking it all in. I'll be honest with you. I'm just taking it all in. I'm taking it, play by play, drill by drill, practice by practice, day by day.
Right. Now, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for me or anybody out there? Like, here's your chance. You've got some of the greatest paintball players in the world watching your show. What's something?
You're not supposed to say that. I told you I was, nervous earlier, and you're like, no pressure. It's just us talking, and then here you go.
Well, no, there is no pressure. It's just if you have the opportunity, like what's something you want to learn? Like how to tech your own marker, maybe?
Oh, you're great. No, I'm just, at least I'm not grabbing Sharpies anymore. I've advanced. I know it's my gun now, okay? Poor Kathy. She'll never forget that.
Yeah, actually, she brought that up right here. I wasn't gonna point it out, but
yes, and so she actually, God, I love Kathy. Kathy, I love you so much. Like, she found a way to make it so cute, because I was like, oh my God, I had my notepad and my Sharpie, and she's like, well, you wouldn't know that it's called a marker. And I have military in my background, so when you're in the military, you don't call your gun your gun, you call it a weapon. And so I was like,
rifle, depending on the situation. Yeah,
right. And I was like, okay, so I get that, right? And I was like, but I was just so overwhelmed talking to her for the first time. So she's like, do you have a Sharpie? And I'm like, I do. Hold on one second. And so she was like, well, now you have to name your marker Sharpie. And I was like, oh my God, that's so fitting, And I'm like, I know, I'm a huge dork. Like, I didn't know any better, right?
Welcome to the club.
But it just became, now it's, my marker's name is Sharpie. Oh, nice. Yeah. What's going on with biscuits and gravy?
All right. So
you want to put me in,
everybody, if you follow the show or the group moving forward, and I'm not saying you have to.
No, of course I will.
Anyway, you're going to see tons of biscuits and gravy posts.
Okay.
I love biscuits and gravy. The problem is you cannot get biscuits and gravy in Canada at all. It does not exist. There is no restaurants up here that make it. There is nowhere you can buy it. The closest thing you can get to biscuits and gravy is there is some sausage gravy at Denny's, but they don't actually even have biscuits and gravy on the menu. And if you've ever eaten at Denny's, and I'm assuming you have, because that's a very American chain, it's very rare up here, but we have one locally. That's not biscuits and gravy.
That's not true biscuits and gravy, no.
So I go down there and I'm like, I need biscuits and gravy. I just need it. I want it or whatnot. People will make fun of me that I that I should make it myself and yada yada yada, but I am not a cook. I'm not going to pretend to be a cook. My cooking skills is air fryers and slow cookers. And that's where I top out. I eat well, but when I come down to the States,
You want biscuits and gravy.
Steve wants biscuits and gravy. And I want Texas barbecue
Okay.
because we don't do barbecue up here properly either. Now, I'm not saying we don't have some great barbecue, because you do, but you go down into the southern states and you have barbecue down there, it's art. It's glorious. It's an experience that can't be described.
Wow.
Up here, not so much.
Well,
We'll barbecue steaks, burgers, and whatnot. You know, smokers are kind of a thing, but it's not the same up here. It's just, I don't know.
it's
Now
different.
you can't get a decent poutine where you are, like you just can't. And I don't know if you've ever had poutine, but
They serve them at the bar I work at, so as an appetizer.
yeah, well, they may call it poutine.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
You come up here with true Quebec cheese curds, and the cheese actually squeaks in your teeth. It's the best thing ever. And the sauce isn't gravy. I mean, you guys probably use just gravy, but true
Mhm.
poutine sauce is not gravy. It has like a special seasoning in it. It's something completely different.
I'll take
So,
your word for it. I'll never try it because it's cheese or it's over cheese curds. I don't eat cheese.
lactose intolerant or just don't like cheese?
I just don't like it. And you can't convince me otherwise because I'm like, it's not even healthy for people. Like people are like,
Neither
here.
are
And I'm
Brussels
like, it's not
sprouts.
even healthy for you.
No, neither is Brussels sprouts.
Stop it.
I'm just saying. So, but yeah. Anyway, that's actually one of my favorite things about paintball, believe it or not, by the way,
Just
is as you travel,
yeah.
you get to eat all these different places.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you stay away from, I don't know, Cracker Barrel and McDonald's and that, and you look for mom and pop places, there's so much more to experience because when you get to the field and it's this giant paintball community,
Mm-hmm.
the locals will say, all right, we're going here, or, oh, we're going there, and we're going to take you to this place you've never heard of before. Like I got to eat at Portello's when I was in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that on uh, Iglesias Fluffy when he talked about the the chocolate cake shake.
Yes.
Like, I'm not saying it was the best restaurant in the world, but I got to do that. And when I was with Andy in Vegas, and we got to eat what was it, the heart attack place? We're like there's so much to experience outside of paintball when you travel, because you link up with the local teams, you link up with the local friends, and you get to this whole huge world. Oh, speaking of Chicago and Destiny Midwest, there's my captain, Nikki. By the way, I am still technically a member of Destiny Midwest, just so you know.
No.
I only played one game with them, but I have the jersey
There
and I
you
ain't
go.
giving it up.
You got the proof.
Yeah. Well, we have gone for an hour and 15 minutes. Is there anything else you want to cover?
No, I think we covered a lot. I mean, I appreciate you inviting me on and it was fun and I had a blast.
Awesome. Now, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to that helped you along the way, just so you can sponsors, anything like that?
I mean, everybody's helped me along the way. I mean, Zodiac, Ken, obviously all the Valkyries, they're so supportive. Rob Walker, George Alexander, Tim F, like all the New York guys, everybody has been amazing and they've all contributed to me getting better and doing better. So I appreciate everyone. And, like I said, Spike, like confidence booster, and just there's nobody that I have met that hasn't helped somehow, and Mr. Oh God, there I don't know. There's so many. I think everyone, put it this way, everyone that has come in contact with me, trained me, given me tidbits, helped me. Dave is gonna help me with my headband, and everybody. It's the little stuff. So
It really is.
it takes a village with me. With me, I need a village to support me, and everybody
We all do. It's a team sport for a reason.
is. It's amazing. So I think everybody, honestly.
You'll notice you almost never see one-on-one tournaments. They exist from time to time, but they don't catch on. And the reason for that is this is a community sport. This is a team sport. And we love each other as much as we love the sport itself.
Mhm.
And welcome to it.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to shrink you down.
Okay.
And I'm going to say my goodbyes. And I'm going to end the show. But stay in the green room for a second. And we'll do a little bit of quick chat afterwards. And
Okay.
I'll let you get back to taking care of your kids and your dog. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh,
You have
thank
no
you.
idea how much I appreciate it.
Pleasure's
All right.
all mine. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. That is my show for today. And I think that was amazing. And I'm so glad that I got a chance to get somebody that was new to the sport, per se, or fresh in the sport. I don't know. I really miss having stories about the fun of it. If you think about it, a lot of us that have been playing for a very long time, I'm not saying that the enthusiasm fades, but it just, I don't know, it's not the same. We don't get amped up like we used to. I know that when I was in my heyday, I would I would feel adrenaline kick in on Thursday knowing that I was going to be playing on the weekend, and all of a sudden I would just get antsy, 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 and I was just, until I hit the field, I wasn't myself. It was adrenaline's in a drug, and I was addicted. And nowadays, most of us, I should say most of us, a lot of people that have been around as long as I have, that adrenaline fades a little bit. Doesn't mean I love it any less, but it doesn't shoot me up. And I miss that. And I really like having people tell the stories with the enthusiasm, because it's just like having a kid. When you have that enthusiasm, you feel the enthusiasm too, and it reminds you of those moments. And I miss that. So I can't thank Jessica enough for being on the show tonight. And I think that I'm going to be looking for more people like her from all over. And I really want that enthusiasm. I don't just want big icons and big names. I just really want to hear the stories and the dreams and the passion. That's what I really want this show to be. So I wanted the show always to be. And since I'm reinventing the show and I'm bringing it back around, I think that's something I'm going to focus on. So thank you so much, Jessica, for being on the show. I couldn't tell you how much I loved it, and I think the show was amazing. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to end this show now. So play with passion, everybody. And as always, keep your paint dry. I'm out.